Welcome back everyone to our Let's Play series of the game Real Farm. So we're here in free play mode today and we got a lot to talk about. There have been 2, maybe even 3 updates that have been released since our last gameplay video, and quite honestly that was by design. I want to give the developers of this game as much time as humanly possible to try to get this game in a state where it can be somewhat played and enjoyed. Oop, there's our one car that travels around the map. Nice to see you. So I wanted to give them plenty of time because as of our last gameplay videos, we had all sorts of trouble. I mean, in career mode, we had tractors flying through the air. We couldn't complete jobs. We were having all sorts of trouble. So I decided that it was time for a little bit of a break and let's let the developers try to catch up a little bit. It's obvious that this game was let's just say it was released way too early to the public. It needed a lot more time to cook in the oven before it was ready for public consumption. So the first thing that we need to talk about should be pretty obvious as we look around. There has been a map update. So the map, if you remember before, was basically flat. I mean, yeah, there was some elevation change here and there, but for the most part, it was basically flat. And now as we look around, you can see that it has totally changed. Right over there, straight ahead of us, what is now over a hill, is field number 4, where we spent most of our time, the smallest field in our beginning field, but we can't even see it anymore because it's hidden. Same thing over here. We've got hills. We've got all sorts of elevation changes. Like somebody took a bump map to this thing and really got busy with it. So if we walk over here toward field 1, you can notice a drastic change in the elevation changes. I mean, just look at this. This is where we were parking stuff before. And now, of course, we're not going to be able to do that because there's just no room. There you can see our harvester that is ready to harvest. And if you remember back, we had some issues trying to get it to harvest anything on this field. So yeah, we had a lot of issues when we left off. But the developers have definitely been busy. And that's what we're going to do in this video is try to move back along with our gameplay. And also, we'll be seeing a lot of the changes with the map as we drive around the map in different places to our different fields and so on. But yeah, a pretty sizable change to the map itself. And if you hadn't seen it before, I mean, this looks totally different than what you're used to if you have been with us in the past. So the first thing I want to do as we get started with this is, if you remember, I spent all of this time. Wait a minute, looks like we left the lights on. Did we leave the lights on? We did leave the lights on. We're going to run the battery down. So I had spent some time. We had went through all the trouble of taking this field. You know, we got all the work done on it until we could finally seed it. And then we seeded it and we let it grow until I thought this was the fully grown state. Now, it turns out I don't think it is. I think this is actually the withered state, as it turned out. But the game right now just really doesn't give you any way to tell that. And let's go ahead and get onto the field, press I, and you can see there's really nothing to tell us on this particular screen that, hey, you have crops in a certain state and they're ready to be harvested, or they're not quite ready to be harvested, or whatever stage they're in. And so it's not that good. Okay. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape with this particular field, except for it's now infested. So that's definitely not good. But before we get there, let's go ahead and try one more time with our harvester. Let's go ahead and press Q, get in, and now we can't see anything. And turning around is not going to be fun at all with this particular setup. However, we have some good news on that front. Let's see. Let's go ahead and all right, let's make our way out onto the field. Come on. There we go. Field information, and it's not going to tell us what to do. Now, if you remember in the past, it would tell us, you know, press this button to do this or that. Well, it doesn't do that now. Now, in our options menu, we have under controls, key bindings. Yes, key bindings are a thing now in the game. So let's just scroll down a little bit. All right, accelerate, of course, we know that's WASD, steer right, blah, blah, blah. We got it. Change camera is V. Cruise control which could be very handy, by the way. Let's see, hitch the front and the back. We got that. Attachment controls, left control. So now we've got it in the menu. So let's go ahead and press the control button and activate tools. There we go. And let's see if it's actually going. Oh wait, we're doing stuff. We are doing stuff. How is this even possible? All right, hold on. Now, I can see at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that we have harvested 30. Wow. And of course we have canola right now currently on the field. So this is pretty exciting. I'm not going to lie. This is exciting because last time we got nothing of this. Now, what I still don't know, as we're going to go ahead and get started with this a little bit, we're going to do a little bit of this, and then I'll turn the worker loose on this. All right, and I'm just going to hold this thing to go wide open. I assume at some point it's going to stop accelerating. Okay, yeah, it looks like we've reached a speed now. All right, so yeah, you can see that we are harvesting. I still don't know if this is harvesting at a withered state, if this is maximum yield. In other words, if this is fully grown and mature, I don't know. I just don't have any idea right now. The game is still lacking any of that information as far as I know. All right, this is hard to believe, folks. This is exciting stuff. All right, let's see if we can back up. It still does not want me to back up with this thing engaged and being powered. I don't know why that is, because I kind of need to. I mean, look, you didn't give me any room to turn around, so I kind of have to do what I can do here. That's the downside that I see of them changing around the map. It's almost like they went crazy with this thing and said, you know what, we gave them a flat map. Let's go ahead and change some stuff and just make it completely hills everywhere. All right, once again, now another one of the changes that they made that is extremely exciting to anybody who has been following along the development of this game is we have better turning radiuses on all the vehicles. Now, I have not tested any of this. The excitement that you're hearing is real. I mean, I'm looking for any reason to be excited about this game right now, and they're getting somewhere. Now, I'm not going to proclaim that this game is a legit competitor to some of the more well-known titles in the genre, but of course, I'm looking for any reason to be excited. Competition is a good thing, and if they can bring this game along to where it is actually a legit competitor at some point in the future, then I'm all for it. I know there are several other titles that are going to be coming out, let's say in the next 3 to 4 months in this genre. So all right, let's go ahead and try to turn this best we can turn. And I still wish this thing would back up for me. Still don't know why that's not a thing. All right, that's good enough. That's about all we're going to get. All right, so yeah, we're harvesting. For better or for worse, we are harvesting. All right, so for this point, let's try to press R. Can I press R? Are you going to let me press R? No, R would be hiring a worker, but apparently we are not allowed to do that. Okay, this is just driving me nuts. All right, so it looks like we're going to have to do that. Do we have lights? Do we have? No, I thought lights were going to be L. I know we have lights. Okay, we got to figure out what's going on here. What is the control for the lights? It's been too long since I've played this game. I've forgotten all of the controls. Where are they? I know they're out here somewhere. Where are you? Okay, I guess they're just going to have to be under tab and control as well. Let's look at some of the others. All right, so previous vehicle, next vehicle, all those we've done before. There's our R to hire worker. Field information, which unfortunately only works when you're standing on the field. Interact, tilt the front end loader. Okay, got it. Hitch the back. Okay, so let's go ahead and press Alt and do that. There we go. So apparently we cannot hire a worker to do this. I am trying. And so we're going to have to do this on our own. Now that's going to be interesting when it comes time to unload. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and get inside This is going to be very hard for me to harvest from this because I'm having a hard time seeing where we are on the left and seeing if I'm catching everything. Okay, yeah, I can't really do a whole lot from this particular angle, so we're going to go ahead and disengage. All right, turn everything back on. So whenever it comes time for us to actually empty our harvester, we're going to have to use the pipe, I'm guessing. Now we could go and get the tipper and move the pipe over our tipper trailer and try to go about it that way, but let's face it, that's a whole bunch of extra steps at this particular point in time. Since I can't hire a worker to do any of this, I would essentially prefer to just take that pipe, and I guess I'm going to have to try to get it over the unloading station over there at the silo. All right, but we're moving right along. We are definitely getting some things done. All right, so we've talked about a couple of things that have changed. First of all, the map and the elevation changes. Then we talked a little bit about the turning radiuses, and we'll have to see. That'll be an ongoing thing to see if these turning radiuses are indeed a good deal better, maybe a little bit better, who knows. We'll have to see how that goes. One of the other things they worked on is the drifting of attachments. Now, this is something that has been heavily scrutinized, and you've seen it in more than one of the videos that I've done so far. And what that was referring to is a lot of times, as soon as you hooked up any of the attachments, whether it was a seeder, a cultivator, whatever, you noticed that the attachments would seem to just sort of float all over the place, even when not in use. They would just simply float around, move to the left and right. And so hopefully they've made that a good deal better. That's what I assume they mean by drifting. And of course, we're going to find that out as time goes on. All right. Also, they decided to make the opening, the entrance to the dealer shop where we get all of our tractors and attachments when we purchase or rent them. They've decided to make that opening wider. So apparently a lot of people have been complaining about not being able to get in and out of that place efficiently, particularly with the larger attachments and vehicles such as the one we're driving right now in the harvester. So they've made it a little bit wider. So hey, I'm always a fan. Anything you can do to make the gameplay a little bit easier and less tedious for us, I'm all for. And then finally, one more thing that I do want to point out on the harvester itself, and I've been trying to get some camera angles of this so we can sort of see, but they've been working on the header particles. All right, let's see if we can get it right here. In the past, there have been some very weird effects going on with the header as it harvested. Same thing at the back. It was almost like there was some transparency issues with the different particles, and it looks like a lot of that has been taken care of. I'm not noticing a lot of it right now, but again, it was almost like they had some transparency issues with the particles themselves. And I'm seeing some improvements there. So I have to give kudos to the developers. They have indeed been working very hard on this title and getting a lot done. Again, they've got a long way to go before this could ever be considered a legitimate contender to any of the existing titles in the genre, but they are working hard. And let's see if we can keep on the side here. There we go. I think we're getting everything now. So they're doing good. Now, of course, the whole purpose of this particular playthrough was to focus on animals. Well, we'll get back to our animals. In fact, let's just go ahead and take a quick look at them. Our livestock, what do we have going on for our cows? Well, you can see food is still okay. We're at 38%. Cleanliness is at 34%. Nothing really to worry about there except for making sure that we keep the slurry tank taken care of and emptied on a regular basis. We're at 65% now. So what we're going to need to do here pretty soon, now I have slowed down time so that we can try to get a lot of this stuff done without having to worry too much about fitting everything in before, the slurry maxes out and the cleanliness drops too much and all that kind of thing. But we've got a lot to do. We have really got a lot to do in order to take care of our animals. All right, you can see our harvester is a little over 3,000 right now. And so already we know before we do anything else with this field, we're in the green at the top of the screen with 4 of our 5 icons. So we're in good shape there, but we're going to have to spray some insecticide. So we know we're going to have to do that. Other than that, we're looking in pretty good shape. But then we're going to have to make some decisions. Okay, where are we going to plant here? Now, my idea is to plant grass on this particular area. I know it's definitely not the sexiest thing, but we're going to plant grass because that's what we're going to use going forward as the feed for our animals. And that will enable us to no longer have to purchase the feed. We will be able to get it directly from our own farm. So that's the idea. Now the question becomes, I have no idea about the yields. This is roughly 1 hectare. It's like 0.96 or 97 as far as the specifics. So it's basically 1 hectare. And so we're going to use this sort of as a way to confirm the yield per hectare. And that's going to give us the ability to figure out, okay, we have 75 cows right now, which is a full house. That is everything we can fit into the barn. So how much land is it going to take? How much grass is it going to take in order to keep them fed? Because the idea is we want to keep them fed until they reach 100% health. And then we have a decision to make. Once they reach 100% health, we can either keep them on the farm and, don't change anything, don't get rid of them, don't sell them, don't do anything, and simply keep them for their milk output. Or we can sell them, buy brand new ones, start all over again at approximately, I believe it's 40% health that you get them, and then start the process over like we're going through now and continue making money that way. Now, I'm more inclined, for at least the time being, to sell the cows once we get to 100%. Take advantage of... All right, now we're going to have to spin this thing around now. We're getting to our last time or two down the field. All right, let's just test this thing out a little bit, see what kind of turning radius we've got. All right, that's, well, not as good as I would have hoped, quite frankly. It's not bad. I mean, we'll deal with it. Is it better or worse than it was before? I actually have no idea. All right, we have a worker that's done on field 5. How about that? Surprise for me, because I didn't even realize we had a worker going on field 5. All right, so our last time down through here, and then we will officially have all of the canola that we're going to get off of this field. But again, even though we're somewhere around 4,000 right now, I don't know. This could be at a withered state, so we're getting a drastically reduced yield here. So that will be something we'll have to figure out as time goes on. Oh, we're not going to be able to get quite everything in this one last... No, not quite. All right, that's no problem. We'll deal with that. All right, go ahead and undo that. Now that we have key bindings, I'm going to have to figure out... Let's see, let's play around a little bit more with this turning radius. All right, I'm turning this thing as hard as it'll go. This is still not turning all that well. But then again, maybe it's not supposed to turn all that well. Maybe that's... I mean, literally, I'm turning this thing as fast as it'll go right now. And we're still making a pretty wide turn. All right, let's quit playing around and go ahead and finish this up. And then we're going to get to have some fun seeing if I can indeed drop this off at the silo. All right, there we go. We're done with that. Now comes the fun part. All right, let's look at where we're going to be unloading over here by the silo. How many trees are in our way? A bunch, actually. Holy cow. This is going to be fun just navigating here. Because again, I'm turning this thing as as tightly as I can, and this is just not good. All right, I can't put the pipe out just yet, even though we're getting very close. All right, now we got to put the pipe out. All right, let's see how this is going to work. This is going to be really fun. Move that pipe out. Okay, I think we're going to be okay here if it's going to let me do this. All right, I'm going to try to get as close as I can to this. This is why it would be nice to have the worker do this part. All right, can we? There. I mean, we should be right. Oh yeah, we're right on top of this thing. All right, can I? There we go. Deploy. Are we deploying? Deploy now. Okay, I'm moving around. Okay, we're not deploying. Okay. All right, let's stop. Stop and reset. No? Okay. All right, let's back up. We're going to try it again. So I got a feeling here it's going to make me put this into... All right, let's move a little bit farther away. Maybe we weren't quite at the right spot. Of course, you can tell I've got a tree here right next to me on my right, so there ain't a whole lot of room here for me to move left and right. All right, this should be... Okay, no, so we can't do that. All right, no problem. We'll try something else. All right, where is... Oh, there we go. What do we have in here? Oh, that's our feed, okay. All right, let's do this. Oh yeah, we are definitely able to turn better than we were before. All right, here's our cows, our beautiful cows. All right, let's get right over this thing. Boy, we are chock full. Stop. All right, so we got rid of what we could. You see, we went from a little over 12,000 to a little over 9,000, and we still don't have any animations for the actual feed coming out. All right, now here's the bad thing. We only have one tipper. We only have one tipper, and it's quite full right now. So we can't really put anything else in there. You can see that tops off our food. The slurry tank is also full, I believe. Let's go ahead and move around. Where is our slurry tank? Let's just get out of this thing. What is happening? It was sitting right. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, let's go look at our actual vehicles. Slurry tank. Yeah, there you are. You exist somewhere. There's a water tank, a slurry tank. By the way, do we have... We do not. Okay, so we may need... Wow. Okay, we're going to have to wait before we can get rid of that. I've got to find our slurry tank. So, here's the thing. Is this the slurry tank? I never can remember just by looking at these things. All right, now that's going to be... Yes, that's going to be our slurry tank. And just to make sure, slurry tanker. There we go. Because it looks so close to the Hercules water tank. All right, so now I believe it is also full. And of course, now this leaves us with a question. Where in the world is our water tank? Everything looks to have been reset because I definitely did not line up everything just like this. I like to leave things all over the place. All right, let's go ahead and get our slurry tank. So yeah, where is our water tank? So many questions. All right, let's get that hitched up. And yes, we have 10,000. So now we're going to drive around with this thing And what I'm actually going to do is we need to get rid of some of this slurry. So I'm going to hope that we can hire a worker and just spread it on this field and use some of it. There we go. Hire the worker. So the worker, even though this field doesn't need a whole lot of slurry, we're going to use this slurry on this field as well as some of the others. And it is really dark out here. All right, so right now I'm just sort of moving around. Let's try to find. I'm having a hard time seeing anything right now. I'm looking around for our water tank. I know we had been using it, and again, you can see all the elevation is going to make it very difficult to turn around in these fields now. There is very little room. Wow. By the way, do we have lights? Do we have a flashlight or something I can use? No, we do not. Now, this has happened to me before with various implements being missing. We look on the information screen where the vehicles, and it says that sure enough they exist, but I don't know where they are. These are the only three fields we have right now. And by the way, these two fields, I'm guessing this is mature right here. I'm guessing. So this is what we need to, this field, and of course the field that we just got done looking at are, I'm guessing, fully mature. All right, let's see. It still doesn't really tell us anything on there as far as the status of our canola. All right, soil nutrition, how about that? 17%. Yes, we can definitely take care of that because we can get the slurry tank down here. The question becomes how much slurry is used for each particular field, how much versus how much is being created by the cows. We'll just have to see. It'd be nice, actually, if we could turn it on and just sort of spray it wherever we want around the map, just in case we need to. Oh, here comes our friend. And there's nobody driving that car. That's definitely worrisome. That's no good. All right, so we are missing a water tank unless I have completely lost my mind and have walked right by it and have not seen it. So we're in kind of a bind here. Okay, and our bind is we've got our harvester that is now done. I thought I was going to be able to unload directly into the silo area. Well, that didn't work. So now that tells me that most likely I'm going to have to empty this into a tipper trailer. The problem with that is, of course, we've only got one, and it is right now full of animal feed and will be for the next several days because we're not going through near as much feed as we have in that trailer right now. So that's my fault for filling it up and not looking ahead to all the potential problems that we were going to be faced with in this game. So that harvester is just going to have to stay what it is for right now until we can get another tipper trailer. And I don't think we can actually rent one, but we'll have to come back in our next video and decide that one because we're running out of time here. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with all this canola we've gotten. Then, of course, we got two more fields right over here, fields 4 and 5, that are ready to be harvested, I believe. And so then we need to get our harvester going on those. Now, I'm not crazy about having to harvest all of those manually, but we'll do whatever we have to do. I prefer to get the workers on that so we can get back to focusing on our animals. All right, in the meantime, I noticed that our money went up. Let's take a look at our finances and see that, all right, today, 9,800, so 9,860, the same as yesterday. Okay, so this amount has been going up. This would give rise to the idea that maybe it's good to keep the cattle around once they reach 100% health, because we'll just call that 100%. We'll call that full maturity. and we'll pretend like we're getting these cows as calves and treat their 40% starting health as basically their calves. We're getting them, and then as they grow up, they'll produce us more milk. We'll just look at it like that. So, is there a reason to keep these guys once they reach full maturity? Well, maybe. If the money that they produce for us in milk is more valuable than what they're worth to us as fully grown livestock. So you can see if we decided right now they're at 61% health. And if we decided, now unfortunately, here's one of the aggravations of this game. You can see that whenever I press the arrow keys, it doesn't move one at a time. It moves 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time. So it's very hard to get to one. But right now, 1,058. Okay, that's what we could sell one cow for. And then, of course, you can do a little bit of math and see if we sold all 75 of them. So we're making money on the cows. That's not the problem. It's just, do we want to start this process over every, I don't know, how long is this going to take for us to get from 40 to about 100%? It's going to take, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe in game time? We'll have to see how that goes. My guess is somewhere around a week, maybe slightly longer than that. So do we want to go ahead and sell all of our cattle every week or so once they reach 100%, or do we want to keep them around because that means they're going to produce even more milk for us and make it worth their keep rather than starting all over with the new calves? So a lot of questions to answer, and of course we're going to still see how we can work through some of the issues that we got going on right now in the game. I'm really trying hard to give this game a chance, but I don't want to get too far along in the game because we seem to be consistently running into issues along the way, and I want to give the developers time to work through all of those. As far as career mode, I'm going to have to let that one cook a little bit longer because I went in there recently and it's still not to my liking. We still bring your own equipment, still isn't working right. So we're going to have to let that one go a little bit longer. And for now, we're just going to stick to the free play. So for now, thank you very much for joining me and stay tuned for more Real Farm.